So it's October and there's just so many RPGs that are just dropping this month. It's insane. And yet again, this video right here is going to be a review of another JRPG, and this time for the Nintendo Switch, which I just seem to be reviewing a lot of games for the Switch and the PlayStation 4, it seems, at this point, but it's all in love. What's up, everybody? I'm Mekel, Kasanova, Hawaii's favorite YouTuber and host of the #1 podcast in the state of Hawaii, the Kasanova Podcast. I'm back with another video, and in this episode of You Need This Game, this is going to be a review of the Alliance Alive HD Remaster, which is a game that came out about a year and a half ago on the Nintendo 3DS and is now available on PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch, which I'm reviewing the Nintendo Switch version. Shout out to NIS America and Furyu for sending me the code. I'm really happy and grateful that you guys send me this code, because this is a game that's very near and dear to my heart. Now, what is the Alliance Alive? Is it worth your time? Is it worth your money? We're gonna go ahead and get into all of that, but the spoiler alert for this video is gonna be that this game is friggin' fantastic, and this is something you don't want to miss. Before we get into the review, make sure you hit the subscribe button, ding the notification bell, that way you stay up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes from this channel. If you want, you can become a channel member or Patreon, because this channel and all the content is brought to you by my various patrons and my channel members, because without them I wouldn't be able to do what I do for a living. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. Roll the intro. So, the Alliance Alive, this game right here, this game is so friggin' good, and I know I'm already spoiling the review by going ahead and starting off with that. I should be leading in with the whole, is it good? You know, the traditional clickbait stuff, but I don't want to do that, just because this game, if you don't take away anything from this review, if you don't want to sit through for the next several minutes and you just want to know right now if this is worth your money, stop the video, go and buy it right now. Either buy it physically or digitally. Links for both are down in the description below, because this game is definitely something that you're going to want to play and own. It's that good. You know, the thing is, because we have so many games that try and replicate the classic formula of games from yesteryear, but this game actually does it because it's got one of the people who were the figureheads of the SaGa series. And maybe a lot of you newer cats don't know about the SaGa series, but SaGa was a great series from yesteryear that sadly has not been able to gracefully continue on the way Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest has. But this game plays fundamentally different. Let's talk about the gameplay. Now, typically when you play an RPG, you would expect to have the traditional level grinding and equipment, stat boosts and buffs and all that, right? You have all that, with the exception of the fact that this game is not about grinding. It's not about leveling up, because there is no traditional leveling system in this game. The way this game works is different stats and bonuses and, you know, HP, attack, all that. You know, you get different buffs based on how you play the game. So say you have Tiggy and you have Vivian. Depending on how you play those two characters, their stats will evolve based on your play style. So if you're more of a physical attack user, or if you're more of a staff wielder or a lancer, or if you're more of a sword user or an axe user or a greatsword user, how you play basically affects their stat growth, you know? And you just get different things. If you're a daemon, you have access to magic abilities, because in this game, based upon the way the story is structured, only daemons have the ability to utilize magic. So if you're using Vivian, or if you're using Ignis or whatever, you know, any other character that has a magic capability initially, then they're able to evolve their magical capabilities as the game goes, based off of how you play as that character. That's the thing I love about this game, is no two people are going to have the same experience when it comes to the characters, just because it is imperative that you play the game the way you want to be playing it. And it's unlike other RPGs where when you play it, you might need to, you know, grind. And Tales of Zestiria, I'm talking about you, especially with that last boss battle. So it's not like the typical games where you've got to grind and you'll hit a boss that you can't beat because you're not at the correct level. The pacing of the story and the pacing of your ability to play through the game, the gameplay system itself, auto balances itself, so you're never going to run into a boss that you cannot beat because of the fact that you don't have the right buffs or the equipment or the level. The game will adjust itself. The key central focus here is the story, and the story is really good. I really don't want to touch on too much of the story because, you know, there's just so many aspects to it. I mean, you got your two main characters, Galil and Azura, and basically something happens tragically within the context of the beginning of the game where Azura loses her eyesight, and then Galil makes it a point that he's going to go and try and get her eyesight back. And while that's going on, then the game shifts perspective to Tiggy and Vivian and Ignis, and they're going over to the human realm, and they're with Tiggy, and they're trying to work with her at her guild and trying to get items to explore the human world. And as that's happening, you have another story that's going on, and then you've got the perspective of those characters, and all these different subplots all come together at a central point. And at that central point is where the story really kicks off. It's really, really engaging, and I think I don't want to talk more on it because if I do, I'm going to end up spoiling it, and I don't want to. I want you guys to go into this and experience it for yourself because it's that damn good. Let's talk about the visual aesthetics. Actually, let's combine visual and audio because I think this just is an area where I can just wrap them both up into one. Now, this isn't going to be, if you're going into this game expecting this to look like, say, Final Fantasy VIII Remake or Final Fantasy X, or say you want it to look like Final Fantasy 15, honestly, you're going to be a bit depressed about that because it does not look like that. If anything, the closest games that I can actually say that this reminds me of is the Bravely Default series. It's a similar art style, you know, a similar character design philosophy, I guess you could say, and for me, it doesn't bother me. For some people, they may be turned off by the simplistic characters, but the thing I like about the simplicity of the characters is you can feel the emotion and the energy of each individual characters because of the facial expressions, the emotes that pop up by their head, and their body language, the different gestures. That's the thing that I really enjoy about this game's simplicity. And even with the audio, the soundtrack is really, really great. But here's the thing, which may turn off a lot of people, is the fact that the game does not support voice acting. There's no voice acting in this game, be it English or Japanese. And for a lot of people, I already know that this is going to be a complaint because a lot of people who are playing RPGs now did not grow up in the era where you didn't have voice acting. You just literally read everything and used your imagination to the voices to the characters and how they emote. So for a lot of people, it may be a turn off, but for me, it doesn't bother me. I'm an old school gamer. I enjoy it, but it may not, I admit, may not be for everyone else. But the music is absolutely phenomenal. I love the battle theme. The battle theme is so catchy, so memorable. All the soundtracks from each dungeon, each town, each area you go to, the overworld, the battle themes, everything is memorable. And that's classic JRPG. Okay, so let's talk about the length of the game. How much time are you going to be investing if you were to play the Alliance Alive? Quite honestly, you need to sink at least over 40 hours. I would say closer to 70 or 80 hours, a little bit more, if you're going to play everything that's in it. Hey, don't get fooled and think that there's only 10 chapters. There's actually 40 chapters in the game, and it just keeps going and going and going and going and going, and it is absolutely phenomenal. This game, lengthwise, okay, all right, I'm skipping a little ahead. What are the negatives? Well, lack of voice acting for some people can be a negative, and the simplistic graphics and the fact that the narrative of the story does take a while to build up. That can be a negative. But for me, not an issue. For you, it could be different. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. Put a little bow on top, make it all pretty, and present it to you. What is the final verdict for this game? Is the Alliance Alive HD Remaster Kasanova approved? Is it Kasanova certified? Or is it what we're going to be going with from now on? You need this game. I say you need this game. If you have a love and appreciation for JRPGs, this is a game you need to own. Absolutely, hands down, bar none, this is what you need to own. This game is so memorable, it will stick with you. The characters grow on you slowly, but they do grow on you. And the soundtrack is just absolutely phenomenal. Furyu and NIS America, you guys did an amazing job with this game. I absolutely love it. And this actually makes me want to know if we're gonna get Legend of Legacy Remastered as well, because I'd love to play through that again. This game is definitely, you need this game. So if you want to pick it up, links down below, my Amazon affiliate links, you can pick it up either physically or digitally. And yeah, that's it. That's the review. What about your thoughts? Do you have the Alliance Alive HD Remaster, and do you like it? Did you previously play it on the 3DS? Is there anything you think can be improved upon it? Whichever way you sway, let's have this conversation down in the comment section below. And with that being said, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, ding the notification bell, that way you stay up to date on all of the latest and greatest content. And if you want to become a Patreon member or a channel member for this YouTube channel, links for those are down below. And with that being said, this is Mekel, Kasanova, Hawaii's favorite YouTuber, host of the #1 podcast in the state of Hawaii, the Kasanova Podcast. I am signing out. I hope you have a great one. I look forward to talking to you. Hopefully you might want to join the Discord. The Discord link's down below. We can get a conversation going even further. That being said, catch you guys in the next one. This is Wild, Too Sweet, Be the Elite. I'll see you in the next one.